In 2025, the average American household carried over $104,000 in total debt. Not because they spent recklessly, not because they didn't try, but because an entire industry, worth trillions of dollars, was specifically designed using principles pulled from behavioral psychology, neuroscience, and dark persuasion to make sure you never fully escape. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is the system working exactly as intended. And today, we're going to show you every trap, every trigger, and every psychological trick they use, so you can finally see the pattern. Here's something most people don't know. Before you ever walk into a bank or open a credit card app, your perception of money has already been manipulated. It's called anchoring. And it's one of the most powerful psychological weapons in the financial industry's toolkit. Here's how it works. When Chase or Capital One shows you a credit limit of $15,000, they're not celebrating your creditworthiness. They're setting an anchor, a reference point. Your brain now treats $15,000 as yours. Available. Real. So, when you spend $3,000, it doesn't feel like debt. It feels like you're using your money. A 2024 study from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that cardholders with higher credit limits were 47% more likely to carry revolving balances, not because they earned more, but because their psychological ceiling was higher. And the minimum payment line? That's not there to help you. That's an anchor, too. Research from behavioral economist Neil Stewart, whose findings were replicated multiple times, showed that displaying a minimum payment actually decreases what people pay, because the number anchors them at the bottom. You weren't being offered a lifeline. You were being handed a leash. But anchoring is just the first layer. What comes next is where it gets genuinely sinister. Let me ask you something. Have you ever gotten a notification that said, "Your 0% APR offer expires in 3 days"? Or a credit card mailer marked "limited time, you're pre-approved"? That's not urgency. That's manufactured scarcity. And it's the same psychological weapon used by luxury brands, casinos, and cult leaders. Here's the neuroscience. When your brain perceives scarcity, it triggers a fear response in the amygdala. Cortisol spikes. Rational thinking in the prefrontal cortex goes offline. You stop asking, "Do I need this loan?" You start asking, "What if I miss this?" Banks know this. In 2023, Wells Fargo settled a $3.7 billion lawsuit in part because they had been opening unauthorized accounts and pushing predatory loan products by using exactly this kind of pressure-based sales psychology on their own employees, who then used it on customers. The urgency wasn't real, but your fear response? That was very, very real. And if manufactured fear isn't enough, they go after something even deeper. Your identity. This one is the darkest, because it doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like self-expression. Premium credit cards don't just offer rewards. They offer status, belonging, identity, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Amex Platinum. These products aren't marketed around features. They're marketed around who you become when you carry them. And here's where it gets deeply psychological. Research on what's called self-concept congruence, the idea that we buy products that match our ideal self-image, shows that when a financial product is tied to identity, people will sacrifice financial stability to maintain access to it. They'll pay a $695 annual fee. Carry a balance. Justify the interest. Because giving up the card feels like giving up who they are. You think you chose the premium card. The card chose you. 3 years before you applied. In an ad. On a screen. designed by a behavioral psychologist. But what happens when this psychology escapes the credit card industry and enters the stock market? That's where the real damage happens. Now here's what almost nobody talks about. Everything I've described so far, the anchoring, the manufactured scarcity, the identity trap, these techniques weren't invented by banks. They were borrowed from casinos, from cult recruitment strategy, from the same persuasion frameworks used to radicalize people online. In 2019, a leaked internal document from a major fintech company, later reported by the Financial Times, described their user engagement strategy as variable reward loops. The same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Except instead of quarters, you were feeding it your credit score, your savings rate, your financial future. And when you understand that this is intentional, the question stops being, how do I get out of debt? The question becomes, how do I stop playing a game that was rigged before I sat down? The banks aren't alone in this. Walk onto any retail trading platform in 2026, Robinhood, Webull, eToro, and you'll find a masterclass in behavioral exploitation dressed up as financial empowerment. Confetti animations when you make a trade. Red and green color, coding engineered to trigger urgency. Portfolio values shown in massive, dominant font. Losses in smaller text below. Leaderboards. Streaks. In 2020, a 21-year-old named Alex Kearns died by suicide after seeing a negative balance of over $730,000 on Robinhood, a display error from an options trade he didn't fully understand. Robinhood had gamified the interface, made it feel like a game. And a young man didn't know the difference between a display artifact and a real loss. This is not financial advice, but it is a warning. The platforms that tell you they're democratizing finance are often just expanding the casino floor. A 2023 academic study published in the Journal of Finance found that gamified trading platforms increased speculative trading by 67% among retail investors, while simultaneously reducing overall returns. More excitement, less money, more engagement. That's the design. So how do you actually fight back? That's what the second half of this video is about. And most channels won't tell you this. Here's the truth they don't want in a YouTube video. You cannot out-discipline a system engineered by PhD behavioral scientists with billion-dollar budgets. Willpower is not the answer. Architecture is. The same way they built systems to trap you. You can build systems to break the pattern. Let me give you 4. 1. Kill the anchor at the source. Never look at your credit limit as available money. Treat it as a trap door. The moment you see $15,000, say out loud, "That is not my money." This sounds simple. It rewires the framing. 2. Introduce a mandatory 72-hour rule on any financial product. Credit card offer, loan, investment platform, sign up. 72 hours, no exceptions. The urgency they created is manufactured. Your patience is real leverage. 3. Separate identity from instruments. Your card is not your status. Write out what you actually value: time, health, freedom, and place that list where financial decisions happen. A note on your laptop, a lock screen. Break the identity loop. 4. Change the interface. Disable portfolio value notifications. Remove trading apps from your home screen. Turn off credit card balance updates. Friction is your friend. Every behavioral system these companies built is designed to reduce friction toward spending. You add it back. These aren't feel-good hacks. They're based on the same behavioral science the banks use, just pointed in the opposite direction. You don't fight the pattern by ignoring it. You fight it by watching it. Here's the last pattern to watch. The financial system has one primary goal: to make itself permanent in your life. not through force, through psychology, through identity, through fear and engineered desire, and the slow erosion of your belief that another way is even possible. But you're watching this video, which means the pattern has a crack in it. Most people watch the players. They watch the market, the Fed, the billionaires. We watch the pattern, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. If this gave you something real, subscribe. Not for the algorithm, because what comes next goes even deeper. Our next video breaks down the dark psychology behind how wealth managers, real estate agents, and high-stakes negotiators use the exact same toolkit to move money from your side of the table to theirs. Drop a comment. Tell me, which pattern hit hardest? The system is watching you. Watch it back.